darling of the insurance sector, Discovery Holdings, posted a solid set of financial results last month with increased operating profit. The Discovery Health scheme reported strong membership growth, as did Discovery Life, Discovery Insure and Discovery Invest. On the global front, the joint ventures with Prudential in the UK and Ping An in China appear to be progressing well. It's the darling of the fund management environment. Is it your darling?
It's certainly, management, Adrian Gore and his team have really done a fantastic job over the years. If you look what's happened, they had maybe one blemish is when they went into the States and got a little bit messed around there and came back. But they've really fantastic. You look at their products that come out and you look at the industries, they could have gone Discovery Insure probably 5 years ago, but they wanted to have a competitive advantage. They always want a competitive advantage. They never wanted to have like a Me Too brand. And I think that's fantastic. And if you look at Ping An and Humana in the US, really those two, Ping An, it's the second biggest insurer in China. And I know they only own 20% of it, but you've got 1 billion people, you can get quite excited quite quickly.
Do you think that that's really going to be the jewel in the crown down the line, 5 years out?
Well, maybe 10 years out, maybe 5 years out is too soon, but certainly I think it could be quite a substantial part of the business.
You haven't been enthusiastic about Old Mutual, you haven't been enthusiastic about Liberty. Are you enthusiastic about Discovery?
Yes, look, they have the management team of preference, so they have precisely the cachet that I was referring to Liberty having had, 2 decades ago. I like healthcare too, it must be said. So I like, the fact that people spend more money. So the emergence of Discovery Health has been fantastic. Although we all understand that the scheme is a separate legal entity and they make money from the 10% of premiums, which is their fee for managing it.
Do you own the stock?
We do at margins, not in the core portfolios, but in many when people want something a little extra or if they are environmentalists and won't buy Sasol. They've been very, very successful at bolt-ons. So, the Discovery Insure business, the Discovery Life thing, was just genius because they knew everybody's medical claims history and whether they were obese or not and stuff.
It's about mining their database.
Wow,
it gives new meaning to mining the database.
So they were able to underwrite at much more competitive rates. They've got a fantastic sales team. That's another thing. They were very good. So that Discovery sales team is fantastic at selling their policies from one end to the other. I'm not a big fan of that investment business. I think it, again, is a rip-off. All those structured products, always better for the person selling them, for the person buying them. This global stuff, yeah, the UK thing feels a little bit risky to me because that's a very mature and competitive market. So I'm not quite sure that they've really got it mixed there. I'm much more positive about the China thing because China is in many respects a similar type of market to ours, where the state-owned care is terrible and people have and are very concerned about their health and are keen to spend more. So I think that could be a very big thing. But then again, China is not the easiest place to do business. You don't
Jonathan,
just walk
do
in
you
there and
have
make money.
bucket loads of the stock, of Discovery?
We've got a fair amount, 3% on portfolio, which is quite big.
If you saw dips, would you accumulate? And what do you deem a dip to be?
Well, yeah, a dip would probably be down 15% from the current levels. It's not as cheap as it used to be. We talked, Old Mutual 0.8 times embedded value, Liberty 0.9, Discovery is at 1 time. So you are paying a premium for this versus the other two, but I think it's worth paying that premium.
And if it came down to 35 Rand, you would buy?
Fully buy, yeah. Well, you don't know. Maybe NHI comes out and outlaws all medical schemes, all private medical schemes.
Well, that's the other risk. NHI looming large, still no detail in terms of the budget, but could it completely revolutionize the landscape when it comes to healthcare?
Well, yeah.
Jonathan, sorry, I was looking at you and kind of, I don't know what I was doing there.
Sure. Well, NHI, when I first heard about it, I got quite worried. I've done quite a lot of work on it. NHI, they're talking a 15-year rollout period. In my mind, what's all NHI is going to be is it's just an increased tax in order to fund the public health sector. You are going to lose the tax benefit in time for having a private medical scheme. But I don't see a significant number of people running away and going, well, I'm going to cancel my medical aid and I'm happy to go to the government hospitals.
Yeah, look, it is risky and worrisome, but the people in the industry say that it's just politics, and that given the dire state of the public healthcare, there's no ways that the current model, which works, which is the private medical aid and hospital combination, is going to be messed with. Plus, it could actually even be positive, because it could be that elements of the administration of an expanded national health scheme are given to Discovery, because at least they're only messing up 85% of the paperwork, whereas everyone else is messing up 100% of the paperwork, you know, so it could be a business opportunity for them.
Are we going to see more acquisitions from Discovery? Bolt-on acquisitions, small acquisitions, 20% of Ping An, although...
Well, I mean, it's not really acquisitions, it's more that it's new businesses that they go into. And I do think we'll see it.
On a partnership basis, that's what they do. They go into businesses on a partnership basis.
Well, certainly, I mean, their strategy, certainly for offshore expansion, is we'll bring the intellectual capital, you put in the money for the business. And I mean, that's what they're doing with Ping An, that's what they're doing with Humana in the States. And we will see more of those.
I think they will do other new things. You saw Gidon Novak, the previous Kulula CEO, has just joined them to head up the local Vitality business.
I didn't actually see that.
Yeah, that's kind of been today or yesterday's news, so that's exciting. A business like that attracts talented people like that. The other thing is that I'm pretty sure they're going to do something in the banking arena, because they're in credit cards and they're in healthcare and they're in financial switching. So
it makes sense that they would just step into that territory.
Banking type facilities, and again, they'll know, you know, who's obese and therefore should not be given a bank account.
Hot or not?
It's hot for me.
Paul?
Yeah, I know it's a good operation at $50, but it's still hot even there.